dressing rooms down there.
Okay, we are live.
All right. Good evening. I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Historic District Commission for Monday, June 9th, 2025. If you would rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. The Maryland Land Use Article empowers Frostburg's Historic District Commission to implement the city's Historic Preservation Overlay District according to the regulations set forth in the Frostburg zoning ordinance. All meetings of this commission are open to the public and conducted in compliance with Maryland's Open Meetings Act. Frostburg Historic District Commission is charged with the preservation of historic structures and the surroundings within the designated district in order to safeguard the heritage of the city, stabilize and improve property values, strengthen the local economy, and foster civic beauty. All right, roll call. Rob Rapan,
Here?
Joe Hoffman,
Present?
Bill Detterman,
Here.
and Maureen Brewer is not with us this evening, as well as our alternate member, Daniel Filer. And myself, I am Dawn Heim, the chair. All right, commissioners, if you would please review the minutes from our May 2025 meeting. And when you are ready, can I please have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes. I'll second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Hearing none opposed, the minutes from May 2025 are approved. So that brings us to our project presentations this evening. 1 East Main Street, some alterations there. You want to come up and join us? Yes, please.
Okay.
And if you would just start off with your name and then tell us a little bit about the project.
Okay, sure. My name is Ben Harmon. Lifelong resident. I've had a Frostburg address my whole entire life, although I live outside the city limits. Live up on Pennsville. My parents taught. My mom taught biology at Frostburg State. My father was a forest entomologist with the University of Maryland through AEL.
And she was a wonderful professor, too.
Yeah, she's heard mixed reviews from her students, so I thought she was tough. She expected a lot out of her students.
I remember the time I was walking through Tolls in the basement, and it was a hot summer day, and she was in one of the labs, and they were dissecting a dead bear. Roadkill.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. So we were looking for an investment property. This one came on the market. Needed some work. We thought we could make a go of it. It was, we underestimated significantly, but it was kind of a learning process. I think we're going to make it, but we had there was a lot of work to be done in the main part of the building. And and upstairs too. So we've got the first floor finished and leased out. But part of this was, and I guess what we need to talk about today was in particular the doors on the front and on the exterior of the building. So the Broadway door was it was dark in color and had a bronze metallic finish on it, but it was coming apart at the bottom.
What was the material? Was it wood or was it
No,
metal?
It was metal.
Was it metal?
Yeah. I think it was wrapped. I think it was probably wooden wrapped in metal. I think it had a solid, basically, so 18 inches up was the kick panel, and then there was a window
Right.
all the way up. And on the front side, it was that mauve, and I won't have one of those pictures there, but it was sort of a mauve pinkish color that, down here, that's down, that's it. It had it was a wooden frame, and probably from I'm assuming it was from the 50s or 60s version, vintage, when that one was installed.
This is the replacement one.
Yeah, okay, but,
Do you have the old one?
I have side, it's the replacement too.
maybe
So maybe
It's
this
not
is,
yes, that's it.
so you can see.
And
It's
it
a
had,
full-
it had an air conditioner over top of that,
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oh.
that was sort of not very sightly, that was, yeah. you can see.
But not
Yeah.
unusual in downtown Frostburg
No.
during the day.
Yes, right, I mean, the
Probably
built- well,
was
the
a
building-
transom window originally.
okay. The building, according to the previous owner, Wes Kroll, he burnt 25 to 30 tons of coal in there, each winter.
I saw him throwing it
Putting
in the
in-
hole many a times.
Putting coal down in that manhole cover, and that was not something I was interested in keeping up. And in addition to, I mean, it's a good source of heat, it's economical if you can do it, but the upstairs they didn't have control, there was no control of the heat in the apartments. So, in the spring, it was probably okay, in the dead of winter, they could adjust it, but in the spring and fall, some of them were hot, some cold, there's just no control. So part of this project is putting heat pumps, mini splits in each apartment. Also, we've got heating, we've got a gas furnace in the main floor, that was installed previously. But we also added air conditioner there and a mini split in the Broadway part. And then we also had to upgrade the electrical system. It had the fuse panels, like each apartment had two 30-amp fuses. There were no, I don't know, I never did figure out how to turn the lights on in the main part of the Main Street business area. So we got, updated the lighting, updated the wiring, circuit panels, got 600 amp service to the whole building. While we were demoing things in there, we didn't realize that it had cast iron drain pipes, so 4-inch drain pipes, which ended up, the farther we got, they were all cracked. And so while we were in there, we had to replace all of that. And I think that was a $60,000 add-on. But I mean, the good news was we didn't have to tear the drywall back out where we had just finished it. At least we found it while we were in the demo phase. We also spray foam insulated the entire building to try to make it more efficient. Had to replace several windows in there. We still, now we're to the point where about the only thing left is that we're going to do something with the roof at some point here. It's got some shingles missing. The life left on those shingles is limited, low. It's got in single-digit years left on that roof. But then essentially it'll be back in business for many more years to come, I hope. We were also looking at changing, one thing we're going to paint the ceiling of that area going into the entryway. And then you can't see it from that photo, but there's carpet that's very worn from the sidewalk into the door.
Have you peeled the
Haven't.
carpet back? Can
No.
you see what's underneath?
It's concrete underneath there.
Mm.
Is it an issue to change that out, or to remove it?
No, I was wondering if there might be something, not concrete, but something that was
Tile or-
like terrazzo or something of
Yeah.
that nature.
I think it's just concrete.
Did you refinish the wood floors that were inside?
We refinished the wood floors in those two windows, in the front two window areas. We had wanted to do the floors inside. That was, we were going to investigate that, but they were beyond repair. There were several cracked boards. There were some gaps in there. It just wasn't going to be suitable to refinish. And it was pine, and I assumed it might have been, well, I thought it might have been oak, but it was actually pine, and not a very thick layer of pine. Also, talking to the original owner, it sounded like the original floor of the building was about the same level as those display windows, and they at some point they had dropped the floor. He had a very interesting story, Wes did, about how they did that. And he'd heard that they had got big ice blocks, and when they cut the floor joist, they had it suspended on ice blocks, and then as it melted, it lowered it into place.
Huh. Wow.
That sounds very interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, there's still remnants of the bars and a couple of the windows from when it was a bank. Well, you know, around on the Broadway side.
Mm.
Was the place where they put the money?
No, yeah, I didn't see any. We looked, but we didn't see any.
As
vault.
it is in the
No
bank
vault?
across the street?
I don't know about that.
So what you're bringing us today are the doors and then replacement of the floor, I guess, or removal of the carpet.
Yeah,
Uh,
just want something to talk about. Oh, that's a good picture.
Yeah, you can see it in there.
Yeah, this is also my first time attending this meeting, so I just, you know, I'm not sure what else we need to talk about.
Is the left wall higher than the right wall?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Well, that window, the window to the left is stepped up, so if you were out on the main street, those two windows are the same height.
Right, that's
But,
why.
but that one right there to the left is higher, you know, it is a little.
Wonder what the entrance door was like, the whole area as you went in, when it was a bank.
Well, some of those other
I
photos.
don't know
Yeah.
if the pictures show it or not.
No interior
Well,
ones, if
and
that's
what-
what you're looking for.
One of those pictures I thought had two doors on the, I thought there were.
I think it's a double skinny doors.
Okay.
On the front, that's just
Yes.
off memory right
Mhm.
now.
Yeah, it's a double door with an arched opening.
And I have
Arched
pictures of
window
the bank
above
across
it.
the streets inside, but I don't think I have
Eyes are
anything
better
on
than
that
mine.
building. But I'll be glad to share what I have with you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that, yeah. Yeah, we'd like to, my
It
brother
looks-
and
Looks more bank-like.
I, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, my brother and I are putting together a folder, so we're kind of documenting everything. It's quite a neat history.
See in the center.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So that's flush with the outside. Man, that's awesome.
See, yeah, this one shows it as being slightly recessed. This is a photograph, an actual photograph versus a drawing that was done. You can see. This one shows it being flush, and this one looks totally different. This one's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 windows across the front versus 3. See, that looks completely, even the top looks completely different.
How many apartments are in the upper?
5 apartments, so there's one over the Broadway space, and then 2 each over the main, I'll call it the main portion of the building. Evidently, when it was Griffiths, I heard that Mrs. Griffith lived in the top apartment, and that one at least was all one area, and then at some point it was partitioned off, you know, split down the middle to make 2 apartments.
Some very nice pictures. So she's so pretty is going into the whole.
No,
Area?
she's going into the front store,
Mhm.
into the one East Main Street store, the main floor and the basement.
Mm.
And then we've got another tenant that's taking the Broadway space.
My recollection is that there was a very nice basement area.
Yes, it is big, and it's a big area, yep. It's the whole, you know, it's 40 by 30, you know, it's a large area down there. Yeah. And we were able to raise, the ceiling was low. And we were, because of the steam line, the reason that the ceiling, part of the reason that the ceiling was so low was that there was a, I guess maybe it was condensate return line to the furnace, or a steam supply line, I'm not, or actually I think it was just one supply. It was a condensate, steam and steam supply and condensate return. But it was a 4-inch line that then split off to the radiators, and we didn't need that, and so we were able to increase the heights about 8 inches down in that basement, which made it much nicer too. And we drywalled the basement and finished it up. And it must have been a prior product to drywall. It wasn't lath and plaster, but it was a manufactured board, but it was more like a particle board. But it wasn't your standard. It wasn't a modern particle board. It was like an older, just an older paneling that was up there, quarter inch thick.
Did a lot of work in the inside, that's for sure.
Oh yes, yeah.
Is there an elevator in there to get to the
No,
apartments?
no. No, it's got a very nice wide stairwell. There's no landings. It just goes straight up. It's about 6 feet wide, 6 or 7 feet wide. Up to the then there is a landing up at the top of that stairs, but that one goes straight, and then there's another stairwell that goes up around to the top floor. The only area that we will not have touched, which is a big area, is underneath of the 2 Broadway, is the coal room, the coal boiler. It's got a huge, the coal boilers, about almost from here down that size of the table, and a couple different levels and things in there. But we had kicked around trying to make a laundry facility for the building, but that was just out of reach. So we ended up the apartments are going to have stackable washer and dryers in each one, and it had a big the hot water supply for the building. Well, the water was a 1/2 inch line to a 100-gallon hot water tank, electric tank, and so we ended up splitting up, putting individual 30-gallon water heaters to each apartment, and so they'll be metered in to those apartments. I can't imagine how long it would have taken to get hot water to the top floor.
Right.
Up there.
You had to get up extra early,
Yeah.
turn it on.
Yeah, and through the floods of the last month, water in the basement. At the original, but there was a sump pump down there. It had no water, and we did have like a coffee can full of water, I would say, at one corner where we had not ever seen, since I've been involved in the building 2 years. That was the first time we had seen water there. So I think it's just related to the 40 or 50 year flood that we just had. And the manhole cover, we're not going to be. I don't foresee us using that anymore. I don't know if we can turn that back to the city for the sidewalk, or what we need to do with that. As far as I'm concerned, we can cap that off.
Probably have to check with Public Works
Okay.
and see what they would want to do with that.
And I noticed when we first got the place, we were getting charged for sanitation department for trash pickup, but that's been removed from our bill. So I'm assuming that's not an option for trash removal from this building. But we also there's not really any good place to put a dumpster. I don't know, so I may still have to work through some of that.
I know your electricians were there a long while.
Well, it's a massive project.
I kept looking at them thinking, whoa, that's just not a major new line coming in. That's going all everywhere in the building.
Right. Yeah.
All right, are there any other further questions? Commissioners?
When is Mindy planning on opening?
She's gonna do a soft opening, I think, next weekend, and then do like a full opening at the beginning of July.
Mhm.
So, last I heard, so she's real excited to be in there. And the other space is Katie, our Katie Lesko and Bethany Fife are partnering up in there. And so Katie's gonna do her ecotherapy and things in there, and Bethany's got the Judy thrift business going in. So it'll be really active space, and I can't overstate the impact that this is now gonna have on our downtown. I mean, that has been a white elephant, just sitting there unused. And it's a historic building, so it's a real shame. And now it's gonna be so active and, a real anchor in the downtown.
Yep.
And so we were just very excited to see everything Ben and his company are doing, and just glad that Project Restore was able to help out with that at all.
Yeah, it was, and Project Restores was, very, it was very timely. It was just,
It worked
it just
out,
seemed like
yeah.
it was meant to be, the timing of that coming through with the funds and that grant for the project. And it was good, very good.
I'll make a motion. I have studied the application and all relevant documents and presentations related to this case, and I am familiar with the property in question. I find that the proposed changes are compatible with the neighborhood because there is a general compatibility of design, texture, proportions to be used. Based on these findings, I move to approve the proposal because the use of the exterior material are similar in appearance to current material or significantly buildings built in the district pursuant to section 4.1.J.1.C.
I'll second.
All right. Did we have any public comment that came in?
We did not.
Okay. All right. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Hearing none opposed, the project is approved.
Thank you.
All right, looks like we do not have any old business this evening, but we do have new business and an administrative approval.
Yes, we had one administrative approval at 157 East Main Street. They're doing a roof replacement. It's in kind using same materials as previous.
Is there anything further, commissioners, or Jamie, do we have anything else we need to?
I don't have anything.
All right, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye. All right, we are adjourned.